Once upon a time, in a quaint little village in France, there was a young man named Pierre. Born with a mustache almost as grand as the Eiffel Tower, Pierre was the town's unofficial French tutor. Of course, Pierre wasn't your average tutor. His teaching style was as quirky as his collection of berets, from his insistence that all lessons happen only inside bakeries to his habit of teaching pronunciation via mime. Our story begins with Jane, an ambitious young woman from America. She arrived in the village with two goals: to master the art of baguette baking and, more importantly, to conquer the French language. And who better to turn to than Pierre, the proud owner of France's most unkempt mustache and an award-winning smile.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Pierre greeted Jane on their first day of class, handing her a baguette instead of a textbook. Jane quickly realized this was no ordinary French course. Pierre's first lesson was simple. Repeat after me. Say baguette like it's the most important word in the universe. Jane obliged, her attempt slightly less elegant than Pierre's. Lesson 2 came with a croissant. In French, Pierre began with dramatic flair. The croissant is pronounced as if it's a delicate leaf floating on a gentle breeze. Jane nodded, still trying to figure out how a pastry sounded like a leaf, but gave it her best shot. As the lessons progressed in the charming bakery classroom, so did Jane's ability to communicate. From the art of mimes mimicking conjugations to the almond-infused grammar lessons, Jane began to pick up more than just new words. A lesson on être, to be, became an impromptu performance where Pierre enacted every emotion known to humankind, and Jane realized that French was more than a language, it was an expressive dance. Of course, not every method was foolproof. Jane struggled at first when Pierre introduced confusion roulette, where she had to translate frustration because Pierre switched his teaching language to rapid Spanish every few minutes. It sharpens a mind, he said with a twinkle in his eye and a probable knack for chaos. By the end of her stay, Jane hadn't just learned French, she'd lived it, danced it, mimed it, and yes, definitely baked it. Walking away with her own mustache, the fake kind, courtesy of Pierre, she could order a croissant without fear or mangle the melody of La Vie en Rose. She realized that Pierre's offbeat methods had introduced her to the true spirit of the French joie de vivre, one laughably eccentric lesson at a time. And thus, never again did Jane underestimate the power of a baguette in imparting language skills.